I should be live on YouTube now. Okay, there it is. I think I'm live. All right, we're live. Thank goodness. Can I also stream on Facebook then? I'm streaming on Facebook. Sorry, hold on. Somebody's calling. Hey. Oh. Hey, Felix. Thank you very much for watching. I'm glad you're enjoying the art. Stay tuned. All right, everyone. I'm very sorry about that. I've been silent for a while just because I've had to take somebody on the phone, you know? Oh, hello, Halfpiece88. Thank you very much for watching the video. Impressive, most impressive. Drawing manga daily is like unlocking easy mode in manga creation. Yes, I actually draw manga every day. That's actually my full-time job. I am a mangaka for authors who wants to turn their stories into manga form. I'm not sure if you can call me a mangaka in that respect because I don't write my own stories. Although this manga I'm writing right now is my own story. So I don't know. I have too much respect for that name to actually call myself one, you know? I'm not sure what would make it official. Yeah. I think I technically am already a mangaka because I've been making, manga comics in manga form rather. However, some people would rather call me a webtoon artist. I've had some debates online, and that's what they told me I am. So again, I don't want to impose my own interpretation if it's wrong. If my interpretation of a mangaka is wrong, I don't want to claim that I am. I haven't published anything. Regardless, I don't really care about the title anyways. If you draw manga, you're a mangaka, but you be proud of it? Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. I guess I am proud of it now that you say it, you know? Uh, I don't know. I've just been told that it's something else. Fucking hell. Maybe they're just naysayers, huh? I don't like this pose. She's supposed to have her hands crossed, so you couldn't be able to see her other hand. Okay, that's a much better pose. Now she's further away. It's really small in this, so it's kind of hard to draw her. She has a very generic belt. Behind her belt, she has two drumsticks. Because this girl is a drummer. There's some lore behind the drumsticks, okay? She is the daughter of Raiden from like God the Japanese pantheon. Not Raiden Shogun from Genshin Impact, okay? And so Raiden in Japanese, I think he has drums. So I was thinking like maybe her powers is related to drums. Maybe she summons drums, like Raiden's drums, her father's drums, to be stronger or use it in combat or something. That's the concept of it. I want it to be more unique than just have her have a sword or like a regular weapon. The drums was like the thing that I thought of since she has some lore with drums and with Raiden, like what I've said, Legs are definitely exaggerated here. That's fine. I like it. I just finished my first manga last month. I don't plan to publish it because I made it for myself as test bed for future projects. Hey, that's great, man. Well, I really am happy that people are still picking up art, despite of what's going on right now with AI. Hearing that that you've made your own manga at least give me a little bit of hope for the future of artists. And maybe one day you'll publish it. You know, I would love to see it. Change your mind. Good. That. Supposed to be a chair. Table between them. Too high. Okay, we'll keep that concept for now. Okay, baby. Sorry, my son just passed by. Startled me a little bit. I might move this entire piece later on because I want to show off his hands here. Kind of off to like off panel. I'm not sure if I like that. It's kind of a rule I don't like in manga creation is I want the limbs to show as much as possible. There are exceptions, of course. Here, kind of like he's kind of like has his hands up because she's a bit frustrated dealing with this character right now. This person is not important at the moment, but he will become important later on. I'm not really drawing him in detail, and the reason for that is because I want to have some creative freedom later on if I want to redesign his character. So what I'm doing is just designing his character close to how I envisioned him, but also at the same time vague enough that I can redesign him later on without having to draw him again. For example, I'm not drawing him right now with a weapon because this is just a bar scene. There's no reason for him to be having a weapon, at least, or at least having a weapon that's sheathted. Maybe he has it somewhere. Yeah, maybe he has it somewhere, just not nearby. You know. So that's another fit. You know, I can probably add a strap here, more straps in the bottom that indicates that something's changed later on. I'm also giving him a massive cape to cover up a lot of his design because again, I want to have that freedom to redesign him later. That is if I don't like his design. You know, right now I'm really enjoying what he looks like, so I may not even do that. Add a little bit of interest, like maybe a ragged flow, as if he's been in battle. Because this person is explaining to this girl that everybody in this bar has been in battle in some way, somehow, and that he shouldn't be so arrogant. But I already published 2 manga in Manga Plus, but I was credited as the writer. Huh. But you also, may I ask, did you also drew it, right? You're the writer and the artist. You should be credited as both. That's interesting. Was it a commissioned manga or was it your own? Somebody asked you to write and draw it. Because I get those clients sometimes, and I usually decline them because I don't know how to write. This is just my first attempt to writing something on my own, and I'm just winging it. Okay, I'm winging it. And I really suck at drawing characters that are further away. because I gotta move them now. Okay, I'll worry about that later. I want to draw the rest here. You know what? I am going to draw this separately. Okay, wait. By separately, I mean in a separate layer. This table here in front of this guy. I'll draw it separately. Because I want to add some effects here that are independent from the rest of the drawing later on. Okay. My twin brother was their artist. Now we both have now we both mangaka. Nice, you have a twin brother? That's so cool, man. I actually know a few twins, and I have a few twin friends. And yeah, I used to have problems telling them apart. But when you hang out with twins, I'm sure you'd know this. The more you hang out with them, the more you kind of recognize small details um that you end up being able to tell them apart easily. Speed should be a little bit higher because he's on a different plane. It's gonna be hard to draw, isn't it? It's a different plane, so we're gonna rise up this. Feet. I guess that works. Who cares? A small detail. Wonder if you would show me your manga, the one you did, the one that you published, or is it free? If it's not, that's fine. This. By the looks, I can guess you're making a fantasy manga. Am I right? Yeah, in a dark fantasy-ish. Well, not really dark fantasy. There's some humor into it. Actually, there's a lot of humor into it. However, the world is kind of grim. The world around the story. I've written the world around it, right? And it's kind of grand. It's very complex. However, the story that I'm gonna tell is a very simple story around a very complicated world. I kind of just got lost in the sauce, with world building. And yeah, but I want a simple story. I don't want something grand, at least not yet. The story is just about journeying from point A to point B, outside this like forbidden barrier of some sort. This girl here with the fox ears, lynx ears, she's the main character. I kind of did not sure about the ears though. I just wanted something on her head. I might change that. I'm sorry if you can hear my son. He's in the background. Hi, baby. Sorry. There's actually two pages on this page. I'll show you. So I'm drawing two pages at the same time. So this is the first page, right? Let me show you the sketch. This is the first page. First panel is going to be a wide shot of the bar that they're going to be in. And then the second page is just right below here. I do this just so I can do two pages at the same time. And then I'll just copy paste them into a different canvas, you know, and do some magic editing thing later. So yeah. Our manga is titled Alum Gabe. Alum Gabe? Check it out if you have the time. I definitely will. I'll check it out right now. Let's see what you got, man. What language is that, by the way? It seems like it's Arabic. I think it's the first one that comes up in Google. This looks so cool. The Unseen World. Oh man, this is so cool. I love the darks. I'm not sure if this is what I'm looking at. Is it this one? Man, I love the dark, the way you use black there. It's Bahasa Malaysia. Okay. We're kind of neighbors then if you're from Malaysia. I'm from the Philippines. That was Arabic. This part I'm not going to show it in detail because it's going to be in the back. So it's not going to show. We'll see later on. It looks kind of crappy right now. But when I draw the background, it all makes sense. I might not be able to draw this massive panel here today, just because I want to dedicate an entire week for this panel, and maybe this other big panel here, just because it's going to be a detailed money shot kind of panels, and I don't want to rush this. The black and white with film grain filter. We want to replicate the classic Malaysian movies from the 50s and 60s. Nice. That's very creative if you're looking at those as inspiration. I don't think many artists does that anymore. Look at the past to make something new. Yeah, I gotta organize my layers, man. Sketch layer. That's the sketch layer. What's this? The black layer. What's this? That's an empty layer. The mask layer. Line art. Merge that. Back. This. Okay, that's just more line art. It's more like it. Oops. Photoshop does this thing when it stops working. It just stops working randomly. I also want to add a lot of blacks here. I'm very insecure about my blacks because I'm not quite sure how to shade them yet. At the same time, I am also trying to get out of my comfort zone, right? That's why I say that your use of black was pretty impressive because I could barely use it. Okay. I'm just trying my best haphazardly here. That looks good. Use this kind of sketch kind of feel. It's working. Again, I'm just making it up as I go. Hey, that looks decent. we go. Now we have the background kind of trying to blend in with the foreground because we've already masked it. That makes sense. Okay, I'm happy with that. He's kind of sitting down in this chair. I think the chair is in the wrong perspective, right? This would be like this. It's a little bit better. What a coincidence. The manga I made also start in a bar or a tavern, staple of fantasy manga. Really? That's very interesting. Is it? I don't actually see that much tavern. Well, maybe Castlevania. I think mine was a little bit inspired by the Castlevania animated show on Netflix. If you watch that, I think it starts to introduce one of the main characters in a tavern in a bar. But this isn't actually my first page. Let me show you my first page. Give me a sec. This is like my fourth page, fourth or fifth. No, this is my eighth page, right? Let me show you. This is the first few pages. So this is the first page. It's a scene from outer space, and it kind of trips you because you'll think that these dots here are stars. They are not stars, but you'll see in a minute. I'm not sure if you can see it on my screen. You should be able to. So this is the first page, and then it jumps to the second page. More narration, and now there's like more of these things, right? And there's something here in the bottom that's kind of looming, and then boom, the third page, which is like the real introduction to the story. Again, it has a very grandiose world building thing, or very epic, and it's actually I just wanted something simple, but I kind of got lost in the sauce. So I went overboard with this one. So it opens up with this panel, you know, and the narration, if you go back, it kind of starts mysterious, kind of vague, poetic kind of dialogue. But if you move around here, and this is the fourth page, it introduces what happened, a little bit of what happened. But the dialogue here kind of degrades into some tirade, right? As if somebody is telling this story, and then moves here again, more devolution of the dialogue, more of a less stagey and more drunken. And because it appears that the person telling this story is kind of drunk, is kind of drinking. So this opens up, introduces our main character, right? I actually don't like this last panel here. She looks a little bit too cute from what I wanted her to look like. At the time, it made sense, but now it feels like she's off character here. So I might edit her face a little bit there later on. And then yeah, that's the last page I drew. So how many pages this will be? I don't actually know. I've written like 40 pages, 50 pages, but I'm trying to condense it a little bit less than that. I've also kind of written a little bit beyond it. I mean, not written. I've drawn pages a little bit beyond the introduction. So this happens much later on. And yeah, this is where like the action kind of starts. Right? She gets caught in the shadowy realm, and she fights this thing. She has lightning powers, being the daughter of Raiden. And she can't summon her drums here. She's in a different realm, but she does her best. Right? Gets hit, and she gets chained up again. There you go. You kind of see her real body here being like possessed. I think I want to redraw this page. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks too clean. I want that grit, you know. Yeah, that's the cover. So this is kind of like the face I wanted her to look like during the introduction. Just a little bit crazy, you know. Anyways, that's a little bit about my pages. So how many looks something from the Lord of the Rings? Yeah, now that I mention it, yeah, it kind of does. Like the Last Alliance, from the Fellowship of the Ring, heavily inspired there. In fact, this bar scene kind of is inspired by when Frodo enters the what was the inn in Bree? What was the inn in Bree? And then Strider finds them. So yeah, this hooded figure kind of finds her. I'm just picking up. Again, writing isn't my strong suit, okay? I'm just picking up from where the masters have gone through. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna get some water. All right, I'm back. Continue this tavern scene. This is going to be the last page where I show them. I show the bar here. On last two pages rather. On the next page, we're gonna see the outside of excuse me. We're gonna see the outside of the city. Which I've already drawn the city. It looks like this. I'll show it off a little bit more, huh? Well, this is a bit old, an old drawing. Wait. Yeah, this is the first iteration of the story. Actually, this is the first page, the first page, because I've rewritten it many times already. So this is, but it has the same concept. It recharges the barrier around the city here. And it destroys some monsters outside. Yeah, I've abandoned the storyline, but I'm gonna reuse some assets here, like the backgrounds. This background, I may redraw this because I think I can do better. I kind of rushed this. You can easily tell it's rushed. However, I do like the grit of the lines I use here. I like a dirty-ish kind of vibe, not too clean. My manga is about undead hunter on a quest of cleansing a chapel infested with undead creatures. Okay, that sounds so epic. Might give it a read later on. Actually, I've read a little bit of it. Looks interesting. I'm not sure if that was the manga that I saw earlier, or maybe it's just it has the same name. Sorry, my wife's here. Okay. That was my son, by the way, yelling. No, I did not kidnap anybody. That was just my son being loud. Monster. Ooh, caramel. Is your manga already finished? Huh? Did you already finish the manga? Is it the first chapter kind of deal? Oh, Clyde Stacy. That's cool. Thank you, man. Yes, 18 page done entirely by hand. Wow, that's entirely by hand. You mean traditionally drawn? Oh no, I've seen it. It's digital, right? Um, that's so cool, man. Again, I'm glad to see people actually doing art still. Bro, I just finished reading two comics. Two comics. What, a single day? That's impressive. I'm still reading. I'm reading a manga right now, and I can only read a few pages every day. I'm just so busy, you know. But I read it in my free time. It's getting late now, so I going to subscribe to follow on your manga journey. Good luck in your endeavors. Thank you very much, man, and thank you for the subscription. I really appreciate that. And good luck on you too. Hopefully soon we'll get to read your other manga, huh? I'll stream again tomorrow maybe, but I promise I'll stream again next week. Maybe we'll talk then. I want to make my own manga or comic. You should, man. I highly encourage you to do so. That is my main goal here on my YouTube channel, is to introduce artists, or at least encourage other artists to draw manga. You draw and write their own manga. That among other things. And one day I hope I'll get to read your manga, huh? Who knows? Might be the next best thing. See? Table, right? So these guys are going to be laughing. Like he's holding his tummy here, laughing. I'm gonna make him a little bit fat than my sketch. These are just some tavern folks. They're laughing because our main character here is saying something ridiculous, something too crazy. Nobody believes her, and she's in a bar. I'm not gonna draw this hand or even try to make sense of it, just that it's there. Be here. Maybe he's holding his legs while laughing. Could just also make it like he's on the table. I'll decide later. For now, I'll just leave it there. Yeah, man. That's the goal for this channel. But again, this is all new to me. I'm still trying to find out what kind of videos people like. I'm just making videos that I like. Videos I want to make. For now. I'm about done with this guy. This guy here. Big no. These are just random NPC kind of people, you know. I don't want to spend too much time detailing them. Maybe some of them. What is the manga called? I don't know what to call this yet. I have a running title, which but it's still a work in progress. Okay, the title is called Reign of the Thunder God. Reign, as in like the ruler kind of reign, or maybe it's just reign. Story is pretty simple. It's just getting from point A to point B. However, I'm not sure if you were here when I described it that the world that I made is a little bit complex, but the story is simple. When writing something for the first time, you don't want to overly complicate things, so I'm just starting with a simple story. I did overly complicate things though with the world, so you don't want to do that. That's on me. But here we are. Want to add some blacks with this person just to make his drawing a little bit more richer. Okay. Way to go, I'll be back. I like your art style. Thanks, man. Take care. Okay, wala na nanonood. Ganyan na nga sa streaming. Oh, marami pumasok mamaya. Okay. Kanina. Dami nag-chat. Kaya daldal ko eh. Kapag nag-live stream ko, kailangan mo basahin din yung sinasabi nila sa'yo. Nag-improve na yung reading space ko eh. Sometimes I want to turn off the sketch layer so I can see better what I'm drawing. There's just too many disturbance with the sketch, you know. So right now I'm kind of detailing what I need to detail with the drawing that I've already done. For example, with this face. Give him a touch. He's supposed to be a samurai kind of dude. I'll leave the top knot there for now. I actually don't know what the top knot, samurai top knot looks like. I think it's something like this, right? Good. Turn off the sketch layer. You can see better. This isn't how I normally draw, by the way. If this was a regular project, I would just draw the line art wherever. But this is just for streaming and video purposes. I'm drawing kind of very rigid here, which I actually like better. But it's not the fastest kind of process. That's all I'm saying. I like drawing like this a lot better because I like a lot more intimate than how I normally draw for other clients. But also, this one is a really slow process, like I said. Here, let's erase his shoulder right around there. Make this thing a little bit thinner. I want to save up for a drawing tablet. I don't think you need it. Well, yeah, if you want to do that, go for it. But you want to just draw something, start with something a little bit cheaper. Just go for a one of those drawing pads. Some of my mentors will use them. But if you think a drawing tablet's going to help you, then yeah, go for it, man. What I have right now is a 22-inch Huion drawing tablet. Graphics, I think it's called graphics tablet, technically. I don't know. Uh, they're relatively cheaper than the the Wacoms, of course. Chinese brand. So I would recommend if you want to go for a drawing tablet, I think you can get one for like 200 bucks. That was my first drawing tablet. It was a much smaller tablet than this one. And this version is already very old. Not very old. Relatively older. It was new when I bought it. But I don't need a new one anyway. It does the job that I wanted to do. Samurai guy is done. So the world they live in is kind of a mix of a few cultures. Um, so there's Japanese and there's Vikings. Living in the same era, kind of like that. Hey, it's okay, baby. That was my son, by the way, trying to call me. We got this. Feeling a little bit tired already. I'm gonna finish this. Maybe I'll finish this last panel. I'm going to, well, just one panel, right? This one is just a few close-ups. It's gonna be very boring to draw them. I'm just gonna finish this. Maybe do the background for all of these panels. Not all of them will have backgrounds. And then I'll call it a day. Still a lot to do. We can still hang out for a while. Viking woman with braids. This looks really terrible. I know. Okay, I'll fix the braid. Wait. Wala ka dyan, Bebs? Wait ko muna. What does the character look like? Which character? The main character. This is right. This is her right here. Wait. So that's her right there. I'm not sure if I've shown you, if you were here when I was trying to show, a half piece here on my other pages for this manga. But I'll show it again, just in case. Yeah. So this is the first page. Let me show you. Let me show it. Yeah, so that's the first page, and I'll just give you the monologue again, right? And it's kind of deceptive because you see the dots in the background. They kind of look like stars, but in fact they are not stars, right? And you'll find out here in a second what they are. The dialogue here is kind of mysterious, right? Kind of like a wise old person is telling it, and it's again it's deceptive. And here's the next page. There's more dots on the screen, and you kind of get a hint of what they are here. And then boom, the third page is like this big wide shot, a full page spread of an invasion on this planet, right? Not necessarily planet Earth, but this fantasy kind of place. And the dialogue here starts to devolve too. On this next page, I know, very Lord of the Rings kind of thing. It's a battle with humans alongside with the old mythological gods, or very grandiose world building. I know, more than I was intending. So yeah, the next page. This is the fall of the gods against the invasion. And again, dialogue here is starting to devolve because it appears to be that a person, like a normal person, like a drunken person, is telling this, right? This is the thunder gods sacrificing themselves to create this barrier around the last city of humanity. So it's kind of like a Lord of the Rings Attack on Titan vibe. This is this big wall, big barrier protecting everybody inside. I know, not very original. Writing isn't my strong suit. So yeah, well, these are just test pages, right? This is actually pretty epic now that I'm looking at it again. So this is the next page after that. It appears that the reason why the dialogue is devolving is because it's being told from the perspective of a drunk person. And that's the main character right here. The next page, there is no next page because I'm currently writing it and drawing it. So yeah, so that's the main character. I've also drawn some of the action pages later on because I've already written the entire story. And I've also drawn some pages that happens much later on. Uh, like um, like this page right here. Yeah, these pages are where the actions start. That's a different outfit here. And let's see, here's the action. Here's where it starts. She gets caught in the trap, right? She steps on this nails where the trap is, and she gets taken away. Easily breaks through him though and starts fighting the shadow creature. He gets hit a little bit, grabs again, and yeah, that's it. Okay. I sometimes do digital on my art phone, on my phone. Yeah, but draw wherever you can, man. I would suggest if you could just buy a pen and paper, start with that. You don't have to do digital for now. Everything you learn in traditional art, it'll transfer over to digital. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question of the main character. I've changed the main character's design so many times too. He's holding a beer here. I think I already drew the beer thing. I don't want to redraw this again. So many times. Copy paste that. Here. Right there. This. Oops. This. Oh, sketch. You can see better. Damn it. Go. Looks like she's going to be holding a mug. Oh yeah, there's nothing in it, right? I'll fix that later. That's cool. Thanks, man. Put a lot of work and love into the story, and I don't expect anybody to like it. Uh, I just I just want to draw it, you know. No attachments. Because the story is very derivative from other stories. This actually doesn't make sense. Why would she be there? Okay, I think I got it. I'll cut these two. And because there's no table there, so it wouldn't make sense for these two guys to be sitting here. What I'm going to do is create. Okay, first of all, I'm going to do it like this. Now they appear. Now, draw some parts. I'm gonna make it so that she is and holding on to him. Now these guys could be on another table, right? Oh, that's really nice. But the table kinda. Hmm. The problem is the table should be like this, but I suck at perspective, so I'll go like that. Now you know what? I'm just gonna make it look like they're gathering around this one table, trying to listen to um, our character. Or they make it look like they're standing. I think the standing, but yeah, that's much better, I think. Okay, I'm gonna make them stand. So at least they look like they're gathering. Except for this guy. Put him back here. Like he's in the table right behind him. Okay, yeah, he makes sense. Okay. And this woman here with the armor, we are going to make her stand up like a medieval knight. Don't want to put too much armor into her. She's not really in combat. And plus, she's not going to be important on the story anyway. It's a background character. But I want to put a little bit of love here too. I don't just create something random. You know what I mean? You gotta go? Well, thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. Take care now, buddy. Sure to subscribe. Honestly, I don't like asking for subscriptions. Just subscribe if you want to. I would appreciate it, of course. Sketch anymore. Aberd. Missing an arm. Yeah. She's gonna be missing an arm because the the page directly after this, which I've already sketched here, This guy here, or this person here, is trying to tell our main character that everybody here has lost something to the barrier, to the dredge, the enemy. So, for example, he has lost an eye. He's wearing an eye patch, and so this girl is like lost an arm or something. In context, scoring them with some sort of loss kind of makes sense. hours na ako nag-ano. Okay, panel is done. We're gonna go back to a few panels here when I do the background. Last one. Let's do it. Okay, so this last one is pretty easy. Need to redraw this. Here the sketch. Here it is actually. For now. Gotta do it again. Circle. Mug in. I need a low camera angle. Ah, okay, that doesn't look good. I don't know. Make it fat on the outside. Alright, so much better. Not sure if I'm drawing this correctly. Pretty sure I'm not. But I don't have a reference to it. I might go back to this and look at some reference later on when I start to do my second pass for cleaning. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like this. Oh yeah, she has a ring right here. We're not gonna be able to see her thumb from the other side. Okay, leave it at that. Turn off the sketch. Oops. Alright, whatever. I'm just gonna merge this now. It's done. Okay, that looks good. Right? Like somebody's grabbing that thing. But this thing is too low. Yeah. Supposed to be grabbing it from the table, so should be an imaginary table here. Right around here. Okay, so this should be correct now. Grabbing it from a higher angle. Like that. Okay. That's it. I'm very happy with how this is turning out. Maybe if I rotate this. Yeah. I think that's... For some reason that looks way better. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna keep it. It will be entirely black. He's wearing a sleeve. Okay. we're gonna add a little bit of drop shadow here. Good. Hatching lines right around here. Very faint. Okay. Almost done. Hatching lines right around where there's a drop shadow. So below the fingers. Also kind of adds like a wooden texture to it, you know? So here. There. No need to overthink a hatching line. At least not yet. Not here. Okay. That looks good. We can help more. That looks good. Hey, where's the other line art? There it is. Here. We'll do some magic with this one. Boom. Right, see that? And boom. Now we've masked it. Oh, that thing didn't mask. You know what? I'm gonna draw a background here instead. I wasn't going to. But can I erase this line? This line will serve, instead of drawing that table that this mug is sitting on in the foreground, I'm gonna transfer it in the background. We'll see much later on. Okay, last panel. It'll be very simple. Close up of her face. Close-ups, I like to be a lot more delicate with my ropes. Also gotta say this panel here is heavily inspired by a reference. Find it on Pinterest. Just know that I'm pretty transparent with that. Didn't copy it one to one, but pretty close. I actually don't know the artist. I would I would reference the artist if I knew who he was. Because I just found it in Pinterest. A lot of times they don't really tell you who the artist is, and plus I'm not really copying the thing, you know. Eh, very good. Do you want? Marcos want? Sorry, my son. I forgot I was streaming. My son is just in the background, yeah? Don't worry though, his mom is playing with him. He's not alone. I'm not ignoring him too. He's just asking me for food. Like snacks. He just ate, so I'm not gonna give him any. Maybe an orange or two. I think like that. Like hatching lines here. I think it does the job. Ooh. Thin ones here. Wow, this one. Ay, wala. Sa. I love my son, man. The best. Looks very good. I like it. All right, so like I said before, this first panel is going to be blank for now because it's gonna be a really detailed page. It's gonna be a really detailed panel about the background of this bar. It's gonna be a wide shot, right? A high at camera angle, wide shot. So let's do the background now. Uh, okay, I'm only gonna do one background, which is this, right? And what we're gonna do is we're going to copy paste that background all over the page. Well, there's going to be three other panels. I'm gonna use this background, so we're gonna turn this off. We're gonna turn this layer off. Now we just have. Actually, we're just gonna do the opacity thing. Okay. How do I even start the background? Do I even want to do a background? Yeah, I do. Okay, I know how to put it. This. Connecting here. That. Arc. Okay, that looks good. We're gonna repeat this arc here. So we'll have the same angle, but smaller and more in perspective. Looks like this. Like that. Okay. Now we have an arc. And the roof will look like this. Actually, yeah, you're right. It's gonna be like a regular roof. So line here. And here. Okay, I think that looks okay. ¿Qué canales? Hmm? Yes. Alright guys, my son wants to play with me. I might not be able to finish this today. But I'll be sure to stream again maybe next week. I'll try tomorrow, but I'll definitely stream again next week. We'll finish this page off and the page after this. For everybody who was watching, thank you very much for tuning in and for chatting in with everybody. Yeah, I'm just gonna end the stream here. Have a nice day, guys. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Uh, yeah.